Hey, Chris Jenkins, credential member of the media coach of the Carolina Panthers from Charlotte Vibe, a.k.a. Man of the People. Hey, today we're still getting some stuff together, right? It was one of those mornings. I'm going to say I was talking too much pregame, and it's my fault, right?
No, don't snitch on yourself.
How much was I talking?
He's a man of the people. He's got fans to talk to.
Hey, so do me a favor. We want to make sure the audio is good today. So I know there's a little bit of a delay from when I'm talking to when you guys can hear me, but let me know about the audio levels. And then I'm going to talk to my production guy. We have no light on Mr. Rashad. You know, he's an important part of the show, so make sure he gets some light on him if he killed Rashad. Help make sure. You don't need to move.
Okay.
Stay in your spot.
All right.
Make sure he throws. I don't want you to cover up Brian. You're going to start talking a little bit. You're going to be flexing on him. How you doing, Rashad?
I'm good. All is well. All is well, man. Excited.
You excited?
I'm excited. I am excited.
Okay, we're going to get into it. I just want to make sure before I get to talking too much more that everybody can hear me well. And then once I get all of those verifications, the audio levels are good, and we'll start to roll into it. How was your walk up to the stadium, man?
Yeah, that's always an interesting topic of discussion, right? The walk up. Quite a bit of orange. It's not a takeover by any means, but there is a little bit of orange, more than I expected, to be honest with you. Cincinnati, I forget how bad they were in the past, and obviously they've turned it around here recently. So quite a bit of Burrow jerseys, a lot of Chad Johnson jerseys, and yeah, they're out here. Shout out to the Bengals fans.
Dare I say bandwagon fans?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. It takes a Bengals, man. That's a tough team to be a fan of. So if you stuck around, you deserve these W's you've been getting recently.
What W's?
On the audio.
Well,
so
now,
a
yeah.
few more comments on the audio being good, and then BJ, if you could just center us up a little bit more on the camera angle there, because we got a lot of space to my side. You want to go the other way? This guy's the center. Make sure he's dead center. There you go. And then zoom in a little bit for it. This is welcome to behind the scenes of live coverage when you don't have that $1 million budget that Rashad has at the P&P Productions.
Nah.
You guys about to build a facility out in Georgia, right?
No, we're not. No.
All right, that looks good right there. I'm just going to turn myself in a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and get started again. Thank you guys for bearing with us as we go through some of that. So again, I'm Chris Jenkins, joined with Brian Gallagher and also Rashad, one half of Panther Nation podcast. Dave, shout out to you wherever you may be. We go live for the reason of interacting with you guys, so hopefully you enjoy it. Get into those comments. Let us know what you want us to talk about. We'll definitely entertain as much of that as we can. And continue to do me this big favor. Just hit that like button. Cost you nothing. Does a lot for us. Help us continue to grow and expand. We're trying to catch this guy right here. You're probably going to stop coming on because I keep talking about him. But Rashad does an excellent job on YouTube. Got a good follow over there. And we just want to continue to grow. And it helps with players and coaches coming onto the show when they see that their voices will be heard by you guys out there watching. So let's go ahead and dive into this. I can get my stuff right because it's all on me today. We start with a look back at the top of the show. And as Brian and I talked about, Rashad, you may know, I'm a fan of Dave Canales. I think he's a good fit for this team. He had some struggles, but one thing that made me be a fan of his was his attention to detail. As he's talked to us throughout training camp, OTAs, and even now, like whether it's on the offensive side, he'll be talking about the process and the detail. He'll talk about the walkthrough before the game, just want to see how guys prepare for that. So I wanted to go into the locker room this week and talk to players and get their ideas on how they see the details from close to hours. So in just a second, I'm going to play that for you guys. I didn't even load it up. Look at me, I'm going to tell you. No, I got it right here. Here we go. I appreciate you taking the time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
For me, Coach Canales, he has this next level attention to detail. At least when he's on the podium, he's been telling us stuff all season. Like, man, his detail, I love it. From a player's perspective, have there been a moment where you can say, man, this guy's detail is just next level?
Actually, today, when we was breaking out the practice today, he just told us he want everybody just to get a little jog in from next drill to drill or period to period, just showing, making the energy jump. You know what I'm saying? Not letting it die down through practice, and I think that's what helped us like have a good practice. And his attention to detail is crazy. Like it's in everything, like route depth, how you run the route, just coverages, from pass protection to how the running back's hitting the hole, how the quarterback's handing the ball off in certain plays. It's everything.
Yeah. When we were talking about ball security and ball destruction, he's very, very, very adamant about what he wants and what he wants to see in practice, and it's to the point where we're looking out for punches and stuff. The whole defense, the scout team, they're doing a heck of a job, making it hard for us to, be comfortable running through the hole, just making sure that we're second nature, just class having. So it's constant punches being around from the D line to the corners to the safeties to the linebackers. They're making it very tough for us and making it second-hand nature for us to class hands. That's why you see Chuba. That's why you see me in the game. We always class hand, even if nobody's around us, because you just never know. It's the guy you never see. So that's what he always preaches on. And
he really emphasizes details, fundamentals, technique, and all that type of stuff. Because at the end of the day, wherever the offense is, we could do that too on the defensive side, right? Like technique-wise, like getting your stance, eyes, hands, feet, all that stuff comes together on the defensive side. And his biggest thing is just finding something to stay focused on. Like his big focus is just like a Miller Lite, right? That's his big thing that says, okay, refocus, and that's what we got to use on defense, especially when a big play happens like that. We just got to look at each other and be like, let's refocus, let's get into it. We're better than that, and just move on. So a lot of his stuff was definitely what he says to the team and to the offense translates to the defense as well. Is everybody just got to relax and refocus.
It's just every day, man. Every day he come in, he preaches that. He live by it. It's just like we take every day by his day. We come in, it's a work Wednesday or it's a turnover Thursday, and that's the small details of what we try to hone in on, man. So, that's just who he is, and it definitely carries on to our team. And everything we're doing, we're working on it. Like our fundamentals are just getting better in this situation. So, I guess what he does carry up to the team. Carry up to the team.
I don't know, laugh, which is more just, I don't know, because I think it's just so common for offensive linemen, right, to talk about the details of things, just because, it's the true skill position. I get, receivers, they're called skill, but, anybody can run and catch a ball. But, when you're trying to back up and pass protect, these guys that are blocking are running 4-4 off the edge, these 360-pounders on the inside, it's the true skill position to where, the 3 inches and a hand placement on a guy can be a great block or a holding. It's the true skill position up front. And so we're so used to breaking it down in such tiny increments, I don't know, it's just natural to us. Whereas when outsiders kind of come in, you sit in an offensive line meeting room, you're just like, what is going on? What are they talking about? How does any of this make sense? But it's just such a foreign language.
All right, so I know you guys said you had some issues with my mic. Let me know in the comments if that continues, and we'll make sure that we address that. But there you have it. I, again, went into the locker room, talked to several players. They talked about the attention to detail that Dave Canales has. But the end of that featured Austin Corbett, our center, and I'm looking at you, Rashad, because you know it's coming to you, right? It stood out to me a lot when he said, anybody can run and catch a ball. Anybody can do all these other things, but to be a lineman, it is truly the most skilled position out there on the field. It's difficult. Rashad?
I can't argue with it because I'm certainly not lining up in the trenches. Look at my side. definitely not lining up there. But I think it's interesting, man, especially from a guy that transitioned from guard to center. That's been I'm not going to lie. I was concerned about Austin Corbett coming into the season. So when he talks about those little, the 3 inches here and there, it does matter, right? And so I'm excited for him. Hopefully it does continue. But I can't argue with the man. I'm not in the trenches. Anybody.
So more difficult than a wide receiver.
I can't tell him he's wrong.
All right, even and you in this to quarterback?
It's definitely a thankless job being offensive lineman. Cornerback is out of all the positions, I don't want to be a cornerback, but obviously I don't have the size for linemen. Maybe 8th grade, little tight end action on the line. Yeah. Didn't have fun. Got lit up, Look at my frame. Yeah, 8th grade tight end, did not have fun, but no, offensive line is definitely the most thankless job. You get all the scrutiny for when you guys don't perform or your quarterback doesn't have enough pocket pressure or presence, excuse me. And even when the quarterback stays in the pocket a little too long, they still get some of the blame. And then when all the gaps are open, run through the touchdown, who gets it? The credit, running back. So it's definitely the most thankless job. So you need to take care of your linemen and tell them you appreciate them. That's why the quarterback, you always get those nice gifts near the end of the season.
Hey. And that's why we have a full panel, so you get to see many different opinions. Because when he said it to me, I'm like, lineman's the most skilled. You're just right. I mean, I'm not saying there's no skill.
I don't know. I was gonna say you're just
skill.
leading off with you're just is kind of crazy. You gotta put some respect on that.
What about the quarterback?
Okay, I mean the quarterback. I don't think
he has to direct everything. He has to know everybody's assignment.
I think when he talked about my apologies. When he talked about skill position, I think he was referencing the wide receivers and running backs specifically, right? Quarterback, take the quarterback out of the equation. We know that that's tough, deciphering the defenses. I completely understand that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to speak for him, but I think he was referencing running back, wide receiver, tight end in those skill positions.
Hey, who gets paid the most? Quarterback gets paid the most, and then who's second?
Receivers.
Receivers. Okay, linemen. They're starting to get more, right?
Tackles get paid a lot.
You're going to pay your left tackle because most of the quarterbacks are right-handed, so that left tackle is going to get paid.
Hey, let me know in the comments what you think about Corbett's comments there.
I'm going to have to send Austin Corbett after you, man. I don't know, man.
I just
Austin, I said nothing. Keep doing what you're doing, man.
Hey, but you know what? So I had to follow with Austin because, as Rashad touched on, he has made that transition to the center position. He's about a month into it, so want to get his take on how he's been performing so far at that center position.
I still feel like in my mind, just with some angles, with some timings of runs and passes, like I still have some guard tendencies, just understanding different landmarks of the running backs. And, I got, first couple of weeks having a 4 down front. Last week had a lot of work with that 5 down front. And so, having a head-up nose guard, just very different. Obviously, they're significantly closer. Like, the line of scrimmage is like I'm setting it. And so things are just a little different there and just kind of getting just those things down. First 3 weeks been smooth. Still just trying to find all those things. Just watching different centers across the league, talking to some of them, just seeing what they're thinking and how they're going about it, and just taking it day by day.
So what I did appreciate from Austin there was him being transparent. Because some people are like, it's been fine, it's been great. But he talked about there's some tendencies that he's still trying to break from being a guard. And I could go back in time and ask him who was he talking to, because he said he's talked to other centers in the league, and I think that's cool because you're seeing that more and more in the league. I think it's like tight end university where they go out and they learn. I think Greg Olson's a part of that group. Exactly. I think the edge rushers did something because I remember seeing Brian Burns being involved. So that's cool to see these guys not care about what side of the ball. They just want to be great at their craft and talking to other people about it. But this line, we're going to talk about it for a second, has been much better.
Yes.
It something that we were thinking critical of Bryce this year when he was starting was like, hey, you do have better line, and we're not getting the results that we should see from it. And he also talked about Pro Football Focus scores. And I'm looking at Rashad a lot. I like having Rashad know that I like having you on the show. So please, I'm like, Chris, I'm not coming anymore. But you guys put out the Pro Football Focus scores, and I think there's some value to it. Obviously, you can be critical of anything that's put out there. But you've been watching the scores. What have you noticed about the play of the offensive line from last year to this year, and even through this year?
Yeah, I've noticed some of the greatest scores we've ever seen, right? And I've been tracking the PFF scores since, man, we were awful. I mean, we saw 0 scores, like literal zeros.
Zeros?
Yes,
like our players
zeros.
Are grading out as zeros.
Yes, we've seen literal 0 scores.
Are those guys still here?
No, they're not.
Okay.
No, I don't even think they're in the league, which says a lot. But yeah, we've seen what we've seen from this offensive line has been great. And this is why we track these scores, because
you got
I
a
think
former player walking behind you. You know who it is?
Yeah, that's DeJuan Edwards.
Edwards.
DeJuan, what's up, man? What's good, bro? Good, man. Shout out to DeJuan Edwards. Yeah, good guy. But yeah, going back to the offensive line, man, I think that it's been great, and I think that they've been catching a lot of flack, with performances and how Bryce was doing. And listen. This is why you tune into the local stuff. This is why you don't turn on ESPN. You don't turn on the national media, because they're all talking about Bryce has no help. He has no help. Well, we've invested a lot of money into the offensive line. Highest paid offensive line in the league, right? And we're getting top 5 performance out of it. Top 3, literally. So I think that what we've seen has been awesome. And I know some guys are hurt right now, but I hope this continues throughout the season, because we've invested a lot of money. It's working out. So these guys are doing a great job. Kudos to Dan Morgan and everybody involved in scouting these guys and getting some of the best offensive linemen out there, especially in the interior.
Did you have anything, Brian, before I continue to move us along?
No, I mean, we already know it. In the offseason, we paid a lot of money to see some results. And just the difference from week 2 to week 3, I think we can point to where the issue was. And you've talked about this a lot. Dave Canales does seem to be the revival coordinator for the veteran quarterbacks, Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield. and now possibly Andy Dalton. After first week, it looks very promising. And here comes probably Andy Dalton's biggest chance at a revenge game. If he can get the Bengals to fall 0-4, that season is done for a team that has Super Bowl expectations ever since they lost to the Rams in the Super Bowl.
We do have some injuries on that offensive line that we're going to be seeing pretty soon that we'll update you guys on. I think Robert Hunt was part of one of those guys that popped up on that list later in the week. So shortly here, probably about, excuse me, in the next 15 minutes, we will have that injury report from not from Robert Hunt, but regarding Robert Hunt, if he's active or not. But I also spoke with Robert Hunt about the fast start they experienced against Las Vegas and what that could do for this offensive line.
It boosts our confidence, man, to let us know that we can move the ball and do stuff like that and go and like play the game fast. So,
we got Sam Franklin here who was
he
thinking that.
He want to see.
Can you identify that?
Young Bobby?
Hey, that's a young go-getter right there. Don't let the glasses fool you. Turn to Superman. Y'all seen it.
Yeah.
Pancake coming soon.
Yes, sir. Man, but a fast start definitely help everything out, man, and hopefully we can get that going this Sunday because it just boosts the whole confidence of everybody. Once you see and feel like, all right, we can do this, or we can move the ball, or we can do what we want, kind of. All right, let's go. You know what I mean? And everybody's flying around, everybody's confident, everybody's playing physical.
Appreciate you much.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Doc.
All right, so got to give a special shout out to the Jenkins family. I heard that the little guy is saying, "Hey, Daddy," to the screen. So, hey, Cyrus, listen to Mommy, and don't lay on your sister. He's like a big boy. He just love. And I'm a demonstrator on Brian, right? He'll just go up to her and he'll just be like doing this, right? And she's just 1 year old and small. He's like 40 pounds, but he's just trying to love. So, hey, Cyrus, how you doing? But continuing on with that. He talked about the fast start being something that gives this team a lot of confidence. I feel like this team could be that locomotive that just started going in the right direction last week. It could build some steam with another solid performance from Andy, and everybody continues to get their confidence up.
Yep.
I felt like with Andy starting that we could see a better performance all around because our defense was been on the field way too much.
Exactly.
Our defense would make plays and get turnovers, and then the offense would do absolutely nothing. And I feel like what you got to see last week was just a product of, hey, if things start to go right, everybody can start to believe in themselves more, believe in the coaches more, and have some good progress. The coach challenged the players this week with building on last week. Anybody can have one good game, but the challenge is, can we do it again? Can we be consistent with it? What do you feel like? Do you feel like they can be consistent and have that opportunity to start fast and build against the Bengals today?
Well, I definitely think consistency is definitely a possibility for this team, but I think this week will be a massive test because the Bengals are hungry. 0-3, you know this team is built for contention every year with Joe Burrow under center and if he's healthy. So obviously they're off to a rough start, 0-3. This is going to be a big test because they're definitely going to be hungry for a win. So this is by no means an easy game, and I feel like everyone does know that regardless of the Bengals are 0-3. But I think today we'll get a real taste of what the season might actually look like. Since, Andy Dalton had a fantastic week one. He was the first quarterback all season to throw 300 yards and 3 passing touchdowns, which would have never bet that. Would have never bet that in a sports book. Can you imagine the payout?
I wanted to see this guy reacting last week during that game because in the press box, it was, it was Sheena to my right and Vashti. And every time something would happen last week, we'd be like, but because we're not allowed to cheer in the press box, but we were trying to. It was happy to see. It was great to see.
It was shocking.
It was.
It was great. It was fun.
The red rifle was firing definitely last week.
The Ho-Ho rifle.
The Ho-Ho rifle. So as you mentioned, 0-3 for the Cincinnati Bengals, a team that seems to be better than 0-3, has the potential to be a lot better than 0-3, and that was a sentiment that was expressed by a lot of the players this week was, they're 0-3, but they're still an NFL team. So here's Shaq actually speaking just the fact that don't just count this team as an 0-3 kind of squad.
Just because they're 0-3 doesn't mean nothing, right? We're not playing the record, we're playing against the Bengals. So it's 0-0 at the start of the game, and we're going to see we're going to be 1-0 at the end of the game. You know what I mean? That's what I believe in, and that's probably what they believe in as well. You got to have confidence going into this game that you're going to win this game. So
Shaq says we're going to be 1-0 after this game. Rashad, let's talk about the outcome of this game, how you feel it may flow forward.
I don't know. I'm going to be honest. This is a game where you don't know if Andy Dalton can duplicate what he did last week. What I do know is that Andy Dalton gives us a chance, right? And that's the most important piece. He's not going to go out there and put the ball in danger. He's a veteran. He's seen a lot. He's done a lot. And this is his former team, right? He talked about, it's very interesting when they asked him last week, hey, you got the Bengals coming in town. It's another game for you, right? How have you fared? He's like, I don't know. It's just another game. But I'm 2-1 against them. Like, you knew off the top of your head the score against your record against the old team. So I think it does mean something to him. And I do think he's going to come out there and ball, man. So. Again, Chuba Hubbard, great game all across the board.
Fantastic.
The offense played well, and I know we got some injuries. I'm hopeful we get the answers to those injury reports soon, because that's going to be important. Whether Robert Hunt plays, we know Damian Lewis is probably going to be out, but also at the same time, while we may have issues with our interior, they have issues with their interior defensive line as well, missing B.J. Hill and Sheldon Rankins. So that's going to be, again, both sides are dealing with injuries. Who can step up? They still got Trey Hendrickson. He's really, really good player. And I don't know, man. I have no expectation, really. I just want to go out there and be competitive and see what happens. I mean, I think this is going to signal a lot for both teams and their season moving forward.
Yeah, the Bengals are like a surprising 0-3 team, especially once you look at the stats for these guys.
Yeah.
They put up quite a few points. The Carolina Panthers, the first couple games, were putting up 10, 3. The Bengals have been putting up 30-something points in games, just losing games by I think last week they lost by 5. And over their 3 losses, I believe it's about 12 points. So they've been putting up points. You can't underestimate Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's having one of the greatest starts for a quarterback early in his career. I think he's just a few passes away from 2,000 completions. He has the best completion percentage of a quarterback in the league right now. So a lot of good stuff on the offensive side, just as well as he's throwing it to another good receiver in Jamar Chase, and he has T. Higgins as well to light it up. Our defense has been doing a lot better, probably assisted by the fact that the offense has been on the field more, giving them a break. But it's something that you want to be careful about, like the floodgates opening up. But I still feel good about this. And overall, I just feel like we're going to be able to watch a competitive game today. I feel like win or lose, we're not going to see a 3-20-something kind of game. And for me, that's improvement that I want to see. That's something I can continue to hang my hat on about this team. Did you have any thoughts about the outlook on the game?
You kind of talked about T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Containing them is going to be a big question. Obviously, last week you had Gardner Minshew on the opposite side of the field. So. Yeah. Not anywhere near Joe Burrow. So you saw last week, Devontae Adams, he was shut down, 4 catches, 40 yards. Yeah. But Jacoby Myers stepped up, and so did Trey Tucker. So it really depends, because the level of receivers, you have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, who was banged up, still might be a little banged up, but it's really about containing them. And we've also seen the rush defense not play the best, especially with the Saints. Last week, fantastic. We only had a total of 55 rushing yards given up last week. So I think it's really going to come down to, can you stop the Bengals receivers, really, is going to be the biggest thing, and just get pressure on Joe Burrow.
Oh, and I'll say this too, the Bengals typically do start slow. Their seasons start off really slow. They're 1-3, 2-2, so they do start slow. I just hope this isn't the game they ramp it up and they start their season. You know what I mean? Because again, there's a lot of season ahead, a lot of games ahead. So they could turn their season around. They have a really, really tough division that they're in, so they can't get too far behind, or they're at risk of losing their entire season, as was mentioned earlier. So we can't allow them to use us as a building block for their season. And like Chris said, I think that this is going to be a competitive game either way. Andy Dalton is a capable quarterback, veteran, and I think that the wide receiver cornerback matchups, you talked about Chase and Higgins. Well, we got J.C. Horn and Michael Jackson too. So Michael Jackson played very well last week. He's been playing well since he got here. So we do have a few equalizers that could level things out. We'll see how it goes, man. This is going to be a statement game for J.C. Did well against, got me strapped up, Devontae Adams last week. So we'll see if he can continue doing that.
Hey, it's Mike Jackson, unless you're family. His family call him Michael.
I'm family, man. We Panther family. We Panther family, man. Michael Jackson, Mike Jackson, whatever it is, he's going to heal the world today.
Hey, and just to let you guys know a few miscellaneous things. So today at halftime, they're going to be honoring Julius Peppers. He's already into the Hall of Fame, but the team here will just kind of honor that recognition for him today. You saw me earlier kind of yell at DeJuan Edwards that was going by. He's part of what is expected to be over 90 former players that will be here at halftime, or here at the stadium today, honoring him at halftime, and so that's going to be pretty cool to see and watch.
That was the first Panthers jersey I ever had, Julius Peppers. Yep, the Carolina Blue, Julius Peppers. Then the UNC Tar Heel one. Shout out J Pep. That's my boy.
Speaking of Tar Heels, a little off script here. I'm not a big college football fan, so I'm going to throw to whichever one of you guys want to respond. I just was peeking at Twitter the other day. I saw last week they were getting like annihilated. They came back, but it was just still a bad game.
All right, obviously UNC Chapel Hill grad here. I'm unwell. James Madison. We're going to go on a little tangent.
Go for it. We'll bring it back. Go for it.
2 weeks ago, James Madison University scored 70 points at home, and then this week we lost to Duke, 20-21. I'm sorry, I love you, Mac Brown, one of 3 active coaches with a national championship, but it's over. You cannot let James Mac. I do. I respect him. He made that program relevant again. 8-9 win seasons, but it's over now. You can't have James Madison come into your house and drop 70 points on you, a Sun Belt team. You're going to get me worked up, Chris.
James Madison's a powerhouse, though. They just moved up. They're really good. Should not be slept on.
Oh, no. I knew they were going to lose against JMU. But 70 points?
70 is a lot. That is a lot.
It's a basketball score. All right.
I thought they were playing in the ding dong for a second.
Right.
But it was a great slate of football games yesterday.
It was.
This whole weekend. I mean, the college football, if you're a college football fan, what a weekend. I mean, so many good games.
Miami,
awesome
Virginia
game.
Tech.
Great game, man. Fantastic game.
Art.
And even Alabama, Georgia last night.
They came back.
Auburn. I mean, it's
what happened to Alabama, Georgia?
Alabama they were killing Georgia and allowed them to come back.
30-7, and then it finished. I think Georgia got around. It was 41-34.
Yeah, they took the lead for a second, and then Alabama came back to close it out. But I mean, just great games across the board, man. If you're a college football fan, now is the time to tune in, man. There's some really good football on.
And some quarterback prospects to look out for. Cam Ward, Jalen Milroe. Carson Beck did not look great last night, so I like Cam Ward a lot. Obviously a little slow against Virginia Tech, but Cam Ward and Jalen Milroe look great.
Are we still thinking about what the Panthers may do with the high draft pick?
Well, it depends if we start winning games, but I mean, it's kind of like it's a catch 50-50. What do you want? You want to see you win, or do you want another chance at a franchise QB?
So it's on pause right now?
It is. It should be on pause.
Yeah,
Let's wait and see.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Let's table the draft talk for now. Let's stay in the moment, right?
Let's try to ruin the Bengals season.
Let's stay in the moment. We just came with a big victory last week. I know everybody. You can't even mention Cam Ward on Twitter with people dropping it. I just said, "Hey, Cam Ward, what a throw!" And then, I don't want Cam Ward. It's number one. Hey, I was just saying that it was a great throw. I'm not endorsing him as the next quarterback for the Carolina Panthers. I'm just commenting on the game, guys. Let's relax. Let's stay in the moment. Let's talk about the Bengals versus the Panthers and table the draft talk for later.
And while you're doing that, hit the like button, all right? Just a few times. Just one time. You can turn the phone sideways. If you just, boom, 1 second, hit the like button. We'd appreciate it.
I need to shout out Roadmaster. Yeah, Rip Coach K. We finished his career. All right, enough of the Tar Heel talk. We will. Yeah, I'm already ready for basketball season, guys.
You need
I'm
me
done.
to put a comment on this? You said from Roadmaster?
It was Roadmaster. He said, Rip Coach K, we retired him with 3 L's.
There it is. Boom.
A fact. He'll never live that down. He hates UNC. All right, I'm done.
You're done?
You got me on a UNC tangent.
All right, well, we're going to continue to move through the show. We got some transactions that the Carolina Panthers made the other day. That is the wrong screen. I'm going to put the right screen up for my man Brian to help you guys know about the latest transactions for this Panthers team.
That's right. Activated defensive end Deshaun Williams with Ashawn Robinson possibly out. So this is going to provide some depth. And then outside linebacker Thomas Nkoum via standard elevation for week 4.
That was beautiful the way that you went through that, man.
Thank you. I hope that was right. I got to sound it out sometimes.
All right, we're playing the Bengals and Panthers today. Give me a little bit of history on this matchup that we're looking at today. So those sitting at home, when your friends come over, you say, "Hey, did you know?" Because Brian's going to tell you.
Well, if we're going to go back to that, this will mark the 8th regular season matchup between the two clubs. So do you want to take a guess at the record? We'll give YouTube a second. Give a guess on the all-time record.
For the Bengals? Well, I already know, so I can't.
You know. Yeah, you can't guess.
I wanted to.
I know it too, so
you know it too, so you can't do it.
All right, YouTube. 5, 4, 3, 2. All right, you missed your chance. 3-3-1. So dead even.
Yeah. Dead even.
Dead even.
3-1. So,
And the only tie in franchise history occurred against Cincinnati in Week 6 of 2024. That was 37-37 in overtime. And that is also one of my least favorite rules of the past in overtime is like, yay, we tied. You can't have a tie. This is a man's game. This isn't soccer. No disrespect to soccer. Charlotte FC is great playing here too.
nice comeback.
Yeah.
Nice recovery.
But Carolina's 1-2. They beat the Vegas Raiders. I can't talk.
Oh, you're fine.
You want to go ahead and cover it for me?
Yeah.
Like stumbling over.
Beat the Vegas Raiders last week 36-22. And obviously Cincinnati's making the trip here to Charlotte. After falling to Jaden Daniels last week, they sit at 0-3. They lost to the Washington Commanders 38-33. And Jaden Daniels was definitely put it on Joe Burrow and the Bengals last week.
Yeah.
Now, it was shocking, I'd say. But Jaden Daniels looks like to be you want to go number 2 overall, number 1 is the trend I'm seeing.
Makes you wonder about the guy we got, but I digress.
Have you? I know you went to Vegas. Have you?
I did not go to Vegas.
Well,
I've been to Vegas.
Yeah.
Yes. I have not been inside the stadium though. I actually went out there as it was getting built a couple of times, so I have not been inside the stadium. I heard it's really, really nice.
It was an awesome stadium.
Yeah, how was that? Allegiant Stadium looks so cool. It's like a giant Death Star. It's all black on the end. It looks so fun.
It was really, really nice. A lot of times, nice stadiums, when you're on the field, you don't really get to feel it because the nice part is for the fans. But when I was on that ground, it was number one. It was phenomenal that you walk out there, and I'm like, is this grass? And it's like, it is grass, and they roll, like, I think Arizona has the same kind of deal as well. But I've never been to a stadium where they have the grass that rolls in. And when you walked on, I was like, this is really, really cool. And just the whole lighting, I know that may sound crazy to people to talk about the lighting, but some indoor stadiums, it does feel like you're inside and a little dark. But the lights and the translucent ceiling, it was phenomenal stadium.
Do they have a retractable roof at all?
No retractable roof.
Okay, all right.
Retractable roof.
I don't think you want to open that roof if you ever.
That's cool it back off.
That's good, man. You keep that closed.
We're going to go ahead. I think the inactives are out now, but we're going to go ahead and show you. Let's see. You guys want to do the inactives? You want me to continue to go through the show a little bit? How quickly can we verify the inactives? I'm going to go to see if we can verify the inactives.
Come on, Twitter.
And if it is, then we'll jump to the inactives.
Let's see.
It is not out yet. So
I know we're still waiting on Deontay Johnson too. He's questionable.
Yeah. So while we wait for that, we're going to give you some stats so we're going to get you ready to watch this game with your friends. We're going to go and first show the offensive stats for both the Cincinnati Bengals and the Carolina Panthers. This list is a little shorter than last week, but nevertheless, we're just going to focus on the Carolina Panthers side. Panthers, they're doing pretty good with sacks allowed, which goes back to that offensive line that we've been talking about. It's been playing very, very good. Some of the investments that we're making across that O-line is paying off. And let me tell you this, what helps in keeping that offensive line with good stats and keeping your quarterback off his back?
Oh, here we go.
You know who had the fastest time of throwing the rock last week? Of course.
Andy Dalton.
Oh, man. I don't know if I set that up for you pretty good, but Andy Dalton had the fastest time getting that ball out of his hands last week, something that we heard that Canales did focus on and won at 2.7 when Bryce was his quarterback. I forget the exact number. Do you know the number?
2.17 for Andy Dalton.
2.1. He was getting the ball out of his hands quick, so that helps. And that says a lot about this entire team and the operations when you have such a quick release by your quarterback, getting the ball out and getting it out well. I'll let you guys digest some of the other stats. We're still pretty low in a lot of these stats. I thought we were going to jump up, but the first two games were so bad that even last week's game where he had about 300 yards passing, had all the touchdowns, wasn't enough to kind of get us to the middle of the pack. We're going to go ahead and bounce over to the defensive side so you can see how the Bengals and the Panthers fare on the defensive side. Let's see, I like to pick out the top 10 and talk about those. We are tied for 8th in takeaways with 4. I think we had 1 last week on that takeaway side. And also we're doing pretty good with our passing net yards per game at just over 200. So Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, and company will certainly test that today. You guys are going to tell me that the inactives are out?
Yeah, okay, we got the inactives right here.
Before you get to it,
yep.
You know how we do, right? A minute of whatever you want to talk about while I get a chance to pull up the graphic.
Well, comments, I'm seeing a lot of discourse about my Tar Heels still. I'm not liking it. Talking about Coach K, do you want to bring up the numbers? Yeah, we can bring up the numbers. I don't care. That man is gone. UNC owns Duke, all-time record. We can go for days. But I got to stop talking about the Heels. You guys get me worked up in the comments right now. But other than that, I will say Deontay Johnson will play today, so that's great. He was a yak machine last week, over 120 yards receiving. And I'm excited to see him get the ball in his hands again today.
Yeah, I'm excited to see more Deontay. I think this is what we wanted to see when it came towards getting Deontay Johnson and bring him to the Carolina Panthers. You heard Canales say he's our number one guy. We're going to make him the number one option. Unfortunately, with Bryce at the helm, we did not get a chance to get a good look at it. And I think that's what people need to understand is that, everybody around the league says we don't have any weapons. We didn't get a chance to really analyze what we had because Bryce was at quarterback and it just wasn't working out. So I'm excited to see, more Deontay. I think you have a good opportunity against this Bengals defense. Give him the football. Let him go. And I think that was the plan for Bryce Young as well. Get your playmakers the football and let them create. That's what happened last week. Let's see if we can continue that this week.
Unfortunate that Adam Thielen's not there anymore.
But I think that, with Adam Thielen injured, I think we get a good opportunity to take a look at our young guys, the future of the Carolina Panthers. When you talk about Xavier Legette, I think he's going to step up. Jonathan Mingo still needs to kind of take that next step.
Yeah.
But I got to give a quick shout out to my guy Jalen Coker, who got activated. If you know me, I'm a big Jalen Coker fan. Been watching him since Holy Cross. And then I had the opportunity to interview him. Such a good kid. I'm excited for him to get his first activation today, first time potentially seeing the field, so we'll see what happens. I think he has a very similar skill set to Adam Thielen, very good route runner. Again, I don't know how much he's going to see the football field, but again, very good opportunity for him to take advantage.
And I just gave you some sound effects that I know you didn't hear, but when you said that was your guy, gave him the DJ horns,
it's my guy,
the siren
man.
And all that stuff.
Everybody that knows me, watch PNP. I'm a huge Coker fan, and all bias intended. I lay my biases out there, so I'm a huge Coker fan.
There you go.
Hey, continue to hit that like button. I thank you guys for your patience. I now have the inactive list to put on the screen to let my man go ahead and tell you about it. And I said I have it, but I didn't put it on the screen yet. So, Brian, when I hit this over here, you're looking, boom.
Let's go, inactives. First, we got cornerback Tyreek Castro-Fields, safety Lonnie Johnson, running back Mike Boone, outside linebacker Taron Jackson, guard Jarrett Kingston, left guard Damian Lewis, and defensive tackle Shai Tuttle. Those are inactives for today.
Say it one more time for the people in the back, if you don't mind.
That's right. Tyreek Castro-Fields, cornerback. Safety, Lonnie Johnson. Running back, Mike Boone. Outside linebacker, Taron Jackson. Guard, Jarrett Kingston. Left tackle, Damian Lewis. Defensive tackle, Shai Tuttle. Those are inactives for week 4.
So those are inactives. So that means that our guy Robert Hunt's going to be out there. Deontay Johnson's going to be out there. Chandler Zavala will start for Lewis at left guard, while Nick Thurman will start in Tuttle spot as well. So, as we already started to talk about, the Adam Thielen being out, all right, so we got Legette, Coker, and Mingo that have an opportunity to stand out, in place of Adam. I'm just thinking, which guy do we feel actually will be the better guy and stepping up? I know you've already kind of expressed yours, so I'm going to toss this to you a little bit, Brian.
I want to see the South Carolina boy, Legette, step up. He was fantastic in college at USC. Obviously, they had shaky seasons with Spencer Rattler, and I don't want to piss off the USC fans, but, UNC beat them several times the past couple meetings, except for the Mayo Bowl. But no, that's what I really want to see. I want to see that first-round draft pick, flourish, because we traded for that pick. We traded up in that spot to get him late in the first round, so that's really what I want to see. And he's gotten a little bit of action, but from what I've seen, it's promising, so I want to see that next step. And with Adam Thielen out, Legette's my guy I want to see step up tonight. Today.
All right.
Also, don't forget about David Moore, too. We got David Moore, a veteran who played well. I think he knows the Canales system, going back to Tampa Bay. So David Moore could also step up into that Thielen role as well.
All right. We got the band that's coming.
Yep.
I think we
percussion coming through. You're gonna be extra loud.
Hey, continue to hit that like button, subscribe, all that other good stuff. We're gonna, once the game starts, we're going to encourage you to switch over to Twitter, which my man Brian Gallagher will man for us during the game, give you all the latest updates. One thing that we're able to do in that press box is get you instant information on injuries. If should they happen, hopefully they will not happen. But if they do happen, we're able to get that information immediately before they can on the broadcast. So that's a good place to tune in and watch us. I think we all don't want to talk over the band. I don't know. Do we want to talk over the band?
I can't hear nothing you're saying, so
we can try.
We can try, but
they stopped for a second. So while the band's coming, I'll go ahead and tell you a little tidbit. I like talking about what former players are out on the field today. It's a short list. Carolina Panthers that were former Bengals. We have just one. You know who it is?
Yeah.
You can't look. He looked.
He's running for. I thought you were wanting me to tell.
No, I was just trying to see if you knew offhand. But it's safety Von Bell for the Bengals, former Carolina Panthers, and former Bengals that are now Panthers. Everybody knows the Red Rifle, of course, was drafted by the Bengals. He's now with the Panthers. And also we have safety Nick Scott, which was with the Bengals, and he's now with the Carolina Panthers. So I'm trying to see how much I want to get into another conversation with the band, but they're just kind of holding out right
yeah, they're like parked right there. They're about to start moving, looks like.
They will stop moving. All right, so we'll go ahead and try to touch on a few things here. Looking through these comments, we got a lot of good comments that are here.
They're coming this way now. I think we can pause.
Yeah, we're not going to try to talk over the band. We're going to just let the band play for a second, and then once the band goes by, we will resume. Thank you, Doc. Again, we're just going to let you guys enjoy the band for a second. Band is going by. Hey, if anybody wants to super chat us a couple $1,000 so we can get those headphones that they wear on the stadium, that's why they wear them. And so when loud noises like that go by, they can still hear each other talking. But we don't have that luxury right now, so we have to just let the band do what they do. Hey, I'm going to put a comment up here. Toss this up to you guys to touch on here as I go to find it. But basically, some people aren't excited about Chandler Zavala getting back out there on the offensive line. I want to see if either of you had some comment on the Chandler Zavala concern that we're currently seeing in these comments right now.
Yeah, I think that it's a valid concern based off of last year's performance. We saw him step into a starting role in a couple of games, and it did not turn out very well. However, last game he did replace Damian Lewis towards the end of the game and performed pretty well. And again, we have to keep in mind that he's going up against backups too on that Bengals defensive line. So he's not playing B.J. Hill, he's not playing Sheldon Rankins. So those guys are injured. So it's kind of miss for miss with both of these guys. So it's going to be interesting. I think he can step up. I think he can make an impact and keep this thing going. We just got to get through this week. Yeah. Let's just get through this week.
Hey, somebody said we got ourselves a cat fight today.
Cat fight?
That's interesting. I see what you did there. Bengals, Panthers. I see what you did.
We got ourselves a cat fight today. All right, we're going to try to go through a few more comments here before we get off the air. But certainly, as always, if you guys have anything that you want to say that we haven't covered, just jump on in, throw it out there as I go through these comments to see what people want us to talk about out here. Some people liking the Leaguette. Please don't let me down, Zavala. All right. We got some people in here from New York checking us out. We got some UNC love.
Yeah, and a little bit of hate, but I'm biting my tongue right now. Well, I'm seeing a comment from Allie Broderick. Welcome back, fellas. Which team do you think will play harder? An 0-3 team desperate for a win or a 1-2 team that's coming off a win? I mean, the Bengals, their backs are against the wall. If you start 0-4, you have a very slim chance of seeing anything come out of the season. So they're going to be the hungry cats in this one.
I think that adds an interesting element, though. The pressure is on them
Exactly.
to not go 0-4. So they may be pressing. They may do things that are a little bit out of character for them. Really, the Panthers, there's no pressure on us.
Exactly.
We're not expected to win this game. For the pundits, the national media, nobody's expecting us to go out there and win. So there's no pressure on the Carolina Panthers at all. They can just play free and just go out there and execute. So all the pressure's on the Bengals for them not to go 0-4. So I think that's an interesting element.
I'm going to put this on the screen just so you don't think that I'm making this up. Chris and Brian, Rashad has a good Thriller dance he may hit us with if Michael Jackson gets an INT.
Ooh.
That's funny. So I know where this comes from.
Grandizer 12 is the one.
Grandizer is a mod on my channel, and it goes back to a Thursday night game in Atlanta. I was live streaming. It was Halloween. It was a Halloween game. And I think Curtis Samuel, he caught a touchdown pass and did a Thriller dance. So I did it too on the stream. So that's where that's coming from. I don't know if I'm busting that back out. It was years ago. My knees aren't the same, so we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah,
I'm not doing a Thriller
dance. Get in there early and talk to one of the camera operators. Tell me your seat. And I'm going to say, hey, if he gets an INT, I need you to zoom in on
we'll see.
fans.
I need to look up that tape.
It's out there somewhere. It's out there somewhere.
I got to see it.
So somebody asked if did Ocho get a ticket for the game? I don't know, but it was pretty cool out in Vegas. Vegas had everybody out at that game.
Yeah.
Steph Curry was out at that game. Marshawn Lynch was walking around on the sideline. Saw him before the game. But yeah, Ocho was out there as well on the field. Don't know if he's going to be here today, but
he said he was coming.
He said he was coming to Charlotte?
He did say he was coming to Charlotte. Bengals, his former team.
Yeah.
He mentioned, all the hate that was said between him and Shea. They went on their platform and said that that the Carolina Panthers don't have anything for Bryce, so he had to eat a little bit of crow, which he did, which was cool. And so he said he's coming to the game. So we'll see if he comes, and we'll see. He's been pretty supportive, but we'll see.
That'd be good. And if he is out there, our photographer, Patrick Snyder, will be the sniper photographer that he is and get a picture of that, and we'll be sure to put it out there for you guys. I think we're about to wrap up. I got a lot of questions, but it's hard for me to decipher which ones are just a lot of good comments. So before we close, I'm just going to check my notes, make sure I've gotten through everything that I want.
You want to talk about Bryce? I've seen a couple comments about Bryce trading coming soon. That's a topic.
All right, thanks for helping me out. All right, here we go. Big Rob, the God, said Bryce trade is coming soon. So that was something that did surface last week. I think it was Sunday is when that started surfacing about. No. It surfaced before Sunday, but on Sunday it was saying that we declined.
Yeah.
Some more detail about the team confirming that happened and declining that. So the Bryce trade, I'll give my take on it, and then we'll just go down the line here. If that's something that I feel like it's too early for the team to pull the trigger on a Bryce trade. He's still a guy that I believe that they set with the purpose of give him a chance to reset and come out and be the franchise quarterback that we think that he can be. Now the ceiling for him I think is not known as far as how good he can be, but I do feel like Bryce isn't damaged goods where he's irreparable at this point and you just need to throw him to the wolves. I don't even know how much you could get for him right now because you're going to be trying to get a team that has a GM that really, really believed in Bryce coming out and believed that they could fix him. And then even once you get to that, well, it's complicated. And what's going to be the value assigned to him, right? Is that GM on the other side obviously going to be thinking, well, you guys put him out to the curb like the trash, so I'm not going to give you everything in the world for him. So I think because of those layers to it that it's hard to say now if that can happen, how much it should happen. But I think it first starts with the Panthers and what they want to do. If they still feel like he's a guy that could be a solution for this team, then you're not going to, I don't care what the offers are, you're going to hold on to him because the other part of it is it's hard to get the quarterback right. And if you still feel like you can get it right within him, then you still have several more years that he's on this rookie contract, which allows you to put other pieces around him like you saw them do this offseason with the O-line. Still gives you time to do stuff this offseason with spending money versus if you go into free agency and get that quarterback. It's going to cost you a lot. And what kind of resources does that look like? So to me, it's really complicated right now. Too early to go into it for me to have much.
I would agree. There's also the chance that the stock just gets way lower That's the biggest thing, because I know I believe the Dolphins were one of the teams that reached out about a possible trade for Bryce, if I'm correct. I believe it was the Dolphins.
How does his stock go up or down while he's not playing? Just honest.
Oh, well, I mean, if we're going to hold on him and try to get him to start next year, it can only go down, because I mean the stock is low now. I mean, there is the chance that the stock will go up, but if the stock goes up, we're going to keep Bryce Young.
So, but until he plays, is it that his stock just stays where it is, wherever that may be?
So I think there was a lot of teams that wanted Bryce number 1 overall. Let's be clear. Bryce would have been the number 1 overall pick had we not been there either. Somebody was taking Bryce number 1. So I think there are GMs that like him. I think that, at the time prior to Canales, this team was run so bad that the teams are going to look past that. So I think Bryce does have a level of stock that is higher than what we see because we're Carolina Panthers fans. Now, with that said, this is the Pandora's box that you opened when you bench Bryce. Mm-hmm. This is why I was concerned with them doing it, and I didn't think they would do it. Obviously, it proved to be the best decision because we're actually winning, but I don't know what happens. You get into a situation where now, if you don't get anything back in return from Bryce, it becomes a Brian Burns situation where you had a couple of picks sitting on the table and you didn't take them, and now you were left with much less. So I don't know what's going to happen. Ultimately, I don't know that I see Bryce Young being the future, because how much more developing are you going to be able to do? I just don't. I don't see it just instantly clicking. Like, when do you go back to Bryce?
Well, I didn't follow him a lot in college, right? But if he has traits that made him the sensational quarterback in college that he won the Heisman Trophy with, if he has these traits where they talk about his processing, earlier we talked about the skill level, right? Quarterbacks, they have to have a good IQ to analyze the game, to break it down. There's things that's been talked about with Bryce and his anticipation to throw the ball and how good he has. So to me, it's like he has all these highly cherished traits, but he just his calibration got off, if you will, right? Yeah. And so if you get that back and you already have a guy who's exhibited these things, but he just got into a bad situation, then there's still some value. And then in terms of if you trade him, I feel like it first starts with Carolina having to say, well, what is our plan? What is our plan at quarterback long term? Because if you're just in the moment and you get rid of Bryce for a trade, well then is that because you believe there's a guy in the draft that could come out and replace him? But if you don't feel like there's a guy in the draft, then to me you say, well, hold on to him. Because again, you already have him. He's already on a friendly contract when it comes to quarterback pay. And then you can continue to try to, maybe there's a free agent out there that you want to bring on to replace. But, Andy's not going to be the long-term solution, right? So you have to have a plan in place that you feel good about before you go pulling the trigger.
I don't know, man. Listen, we've seen Bryce play great in college, high school, everything. We have not seen all that processing, those traits translate to the NFL, right? And you're not going to get 5 Jerry Rices out there at wide receiver like you had in college. You're not going to get 5 Larry Allens blocking for you on the offensive line. There's no way we can build this elite team that, he doesn't have offensive linemen, he doesn't have this, all the pundits said what he doesn't have, he's never going to get. We're never going to get these elite players. It's going to take time to get to that point. So Bryce at some point is going to have to meet us halfway with his processing and his ability to play quarterback. Are we going to get that? I don't know. I just don't know. And the way this team was configured, you brought all these guys in to help Bryce be better, right? Now that you got a veteran quarterback, are you going to shift? Because now you got to think about salary cap, right? Veteran quarterbacks aren't going to be cheap. Andy Dalton going out there paying the way he's playing Yesterday's price is not today's price. His contract is up too. So you don't think the way he's playing, he's not going to command more money? Like, there's a lot of different factors, which is why I thought we're kind of living in a moment when we benched Bryce, right? I don't know that we thought this all the way through. I just don't think we thought it all the way through when we benched him. Just my opinion.
So let's compartmentalize it. Let's first just talk about specifically Bryce. And do we feel like he can be a franchise quarterback? Just compartmentalize to that. Do you feel like he can be that? Or do you feel like, oh no, it's already gone, he'll be a quarterback, but not a franchise quarterback?
It might be gone. I mean, I've said this before. He really should have not played at all his rookie year. I mean, you're seeing something similar with the Patriots. The Patriots don't have an O-line, not a lot of weapons. You don't see Drake May getting tossed to the Wolves in his first season. And the Panthers were not good last year, made some additions. I really don't think Bryce Young should have played last year, considering what we gave up any type of offensive weapon to get that pick, and also traded CMC before that. I really think he shouldn't have played at all his rookie year, and now we're dealing with this, where we've seen a year and 3 weeks of how he progressed. We saw that the offseason there was really no change with Bryce's play, even with
there was change.
Worse.
Yeah, it got worse.
Yeah,
Let's keep it a buck.
Yeah, but with that, it just makes it so much more difficult for the team to make a decision, and as well as his confidence, because we know he did not want to get benched. We've seen the pictures that Patrick's got. He's giving Andy Dalton the side eye at all times in any picture you see them together. And I mean, that's good. He's hungry. He wants to get better. He wants to get back out there. But at what point is his soul crushed in Carolina, and it's time for a new jersey to put on?
So, Bryce, yes. Bryce, no. For repairable. Your final answer?
Pass.
Great answer.
Rashad.
I'm gonna have to pass. If he can pass, I'll pass it too. Because I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know that it's not gonna just magically click for him. It's gonna take time, right? And he's gonna be in the year 3 of his deal next year. That clock is running out, right? And so I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I feel like you guys, heart-wise, they don't want to say it to the cameras, but to me, listen to both of you guys, you say, he's done. He's not fixable. He could be a quarterback, but he's not fixable. I side more on the question of if he's had all these traits out there, I think it could be revived. I kind of think it is. But now let's touch on one other piece before we get off. Just compartmentalizing to this one piece here, right? Let's say that Bryce Young is not our quarterback. Whether we keep him and continue to try to repair him, whether we trade him, but he's not. Just what do you feel like we should do next if Bryce Young is not our quarterback?
Well, obviously, we're going to run with Andy Dalton this season.
I'm sorry. Let me correct if next season.
Next season.
Beyond this season.
I mean, realistically,
you didn't see that coming, did you?
Realistically, you're going to want to draft another quarterback if you're going to give up on Bryce Young, but I still think it's way too soon for a lead prospect in the draft that you'd like. I mean, people in the comments always talk about Alabama quarterbacks. They have all the weapons, and that is true in a sense. So I don't know how you feel about Jalen Milroe.
Well, I can help you out. You don't even have to say who that quarterback's going to be. You don't have to determine, like, it's going to be Manning, all these guys. But just what would that look like for the Panthers?
I don't think re-signing Andy Dalton. I don't like that really. I think that just makes us bleh. Like I mean that doesn't do anything for this franchise. I think if you're going to do something, we got to, because we're basically committed to Andy Dalton at this point for the season.
Right.
So we'll see where that goes. If we get a win today, it's looking like, I don't know, like what are we going to be? Like, is this like a 7-10 team? Is 6-8 wins possibly? Who knows? The schedule does get a little more difficult, but there's too many questions. Am I wrong? I don't know. There's too many questions.
So it sounds like you said if we get rid of Bryce. What did you say?
He didn't say anything.
I didn't.
He didn't say anything.
All right. You know what? Clear that. If we get rid of Bryce,
I can't
tank.
Let you pass on all of them.
If we get rid of Bryce, tank. What is the point in? You guys are putting me in a box right now.
Here's the answer.
You want to tank if Bryce is not going to.
If they're going to give up on Bryce, yes, because Andy Dalton is like 36.
Which is why you should have left Bryce in. If you were really you should.
No, you would not be here today.
I would have been here.
You would have sold the tickets.
But see, this is what I just don't think we thought this all the way through. But to answer your question, you have to look at your head coach. Your head coach appears to do best with veteran quarterbacks. Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield, now Andy Dalton, right? I think if Bryce is no longer here, I think you need to find that next guy you can fix. Whether it's somebody, I don't know who it's going to be. I couldn't tell you who's out there. I don't know who's on contract or whatever's coming up on the contract year. But you might need to go the veteran quarterback route to keep the ship up, because you have guys like Jadeveon Clowney. You brought guys in here, Robert Hunt, Damian Lewis. These guys want to win. So they're not just going to deal with, we got to develop another young quarterback and just recycle this thing all over again. So I think it's going to be, personally, I think it's going to be another veteran quarterback. Don't know who it's going to be.
But get rid of Andy Dalton.
I don't know that. I do not know.
Yeah.
Commenters trade for Joe Milton. You didn't watch Joe Milton play in college. You don't want Joe Milton. That's no, sir. I'm sorry.
So I feel like if Bryce is not the answer, Bryce was not going to be on this team next year. I don't feel like you want to continue to have Andy Dalton as your starter. I feel like, again, not asking any of these guys or myself to say exactly what that's going to be like, but I feel like you need to full-fledged move on to something other than Bryce and other than Andy Dalton. But I do feel like it's good to have Andy Dalton this year. Let him do what he can do because, I mean, you just should. Hey, I just thought of a random. We're about to wrap up. Are you going to Germany?
Yes.
Ooh.
I didn't know if it was like a pending, like a HBCU schedule or something like that.
I'm going.
You absolutely
me and Dave are going to Germany. Yep.
Okay. All right.
Going.
How long are you guys going to be in Germany for?
I'm going to be in Germany technically Thursday morning through Monday morning.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll get there Thursday evening through Monday morning.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so that's what we're going to do.
Drink a Das Boot for me. Get a
I don't
Das
drink
Boot.
anything at all. It's Rashad to hook you up.
I
Get
will
a Das
be.
Boot.
Whatever.
I can't say that the first time that I ever did have alcohol was in Germany. I won't tell you how many decades ago that was because you don't have to be 21 over there. I tasted it and I still don't drink it, but
Yeah, beer's awful, but
beer's awful.
whatever. I'm good. I'm going for the experience, so I'm diving all the way in.
You're in Germany. You got to be a trooper.
I'll be in there. We'll make it happen.
Again, I'd like to offer you guys any closing comments before I wrap us up.
No,
Anything
you
wanna
guys
say
boxed
before-
me in.
I
You
didn't-
were boxing me in.
You can't tap dance the whole
Man, you
show,
can't.
man.
You gotta.
I was, but you know what? You guys are.
For the record, he
Lord.
wants us to tank. So if you agree with Brian, type
No, I don't wanna
tank
tank, but
in the
like-
comments. And if you
I don't want to take.
Just-
Come on, what are we
just-
gonna do with
If
the
you would have tanked,
36-year-old?
you would have kept Bryce in. That would have been your tank by
That is
default.
true. Okay, hate me for it. I like to see winning, but I know Andy Dalton's not. It's not going to amount to anything. I like winning, but there's also thinking about the future.
Somebody said Bryce is a mix of Doug Flutie, Chad Pennington, and Matt Hasselbeck.
Tough crowd.
What do you want to wrap up with, Rashad? Anything you want to wrap
I'm
up with?
good, man. About to enjoy this game, man. Keep pounding. Let's see what we can. Let's go get the W, man.
Tell people what are you going to be doing today? Are you going live after
I
the
will
game?
go live after the game, so around 5 o'clock, I will be out there giving my live, unfiltered thoughts about the game. So come up, pull up.
There's a wild, drunk-looking person behind us that I hope our production guy will tackle if necessary. You got it? Okay.
Didn't catch him.
So
I didn't
that
see
is
it.
the horn. I'm going to wrap up for Rashad, one half of Panther Nation podcast. Please be sure to check his podcast out. They do a lot of great stuff. Brian Gallagher is going to go in the press box and man Twitter. Keep you guys up to date. I'm Chris Jenkins for Charlotte Vibe. Thank you all very much. We'll see you again shortly.
See ya.